If you recently got a new puppy, first off, congratulations. Second off, training and raising a good puppy starts from the moment you pick that puppy up and bring them home to their forever home. But there's so many things that people are going to tell you to do first in terms of training your new puppy, and they're going to be like, oh, you should train basic commands like sit or recall first. But the actual most important by far step in training a puppy is going to be socialization. And contrary to popular belief and also what the word just like sounds like, socialization is not letting your dog say hi to all the dogs he meets. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Let's get right into how to properly socialize your puppy. And by the way, if your dog isn't fully vaccinated, adjust what I'm about to say so that you're still following the proper rules for an unvaccinated dog. But yeah, just keep that in mind. If your dog is fully vaccinated, fully protected, you can follow everything I say exactly how I say it. So what is socialization? Socialization is essentially just exposing your dog to the world and different environments in a controlled, positive way, so that ideally when your puppy is grown, your dog has a neutral, emotional, and physical response to any situation that they can encounter throughout their whole life. If a dog is properly socialized, the odds of them becoming reactive become much lesser. And the reason why this should be the absolute #1 priority on your training list is because of what we call the socialization window. The socialization window occurs when your puppy is around 3 to 16 weeks old. And what this window is just when your puppy is the most sponge-like, most absorbent of new information, and the most moldable. And this period defines your dog's temperament and personality for the rest of their lives, the majority of it. Of course, genetics play a huge role in your dog's future personality and temperament and all that kind of stuff, but out of what we can control, socialization is by far the most important. Just a quick side note here, by the way, this is exactly why it's so important to research the breeder that you're getting your puppy from if you choose to get from a breeder instead of a shelter, because a responsible breeder does temperament tests and won't breed a dog that has behavioral issues. So, how do you properly socialize your puppy? First, I want to address what not to do because this helps to clarify some things. Firstly, don't ever let your puppy interact with other dogs that you don't know and trust. This tip is for all dogs, to be honest, at any stage in their life, because you never know when another dog is going to be friendly or not friendly. You don't know if the owner is responsible, and you don't know if that dog is maybe carrying some virus because he's not vaccinated or something. So interacting with random dogs, I recommend against anyway. But in terms of socialization, this idea is particularly bad because if you encourage a young puppy in their socialization window or at a young age in general to play or greet other dogs while you're on a walk, on a leash all the time, your dog will forever have an elevated emotion attached to seeing other dogs. He'll always feel excited or hyper, or even if it's negative, just elevated emotions. Now, why is this really bad? It's because this is exactly what leads to reactivity or sometimes even aggression in the future. For example, when your dog is older, they might start lunging at other dogs every time they see them, not necessarily because your dog is feeling aggressive, but mostly because during that younger period of his years, he was so used to saying hi to other dogs that now when your dog is older, he's going to see other dogs and immediately associate that with playing, excitement, happiness, and that leads to stuff like lunging, barking, reactivity. And like I said in the beginning, during the whole process of socialization, you always want to keep in the back of your head, is this building neutrality in my dog? Saying hi to other dogs while on a walk is not building neutrality. And by the way, this tip applies to other people as well. Don't let your dog say hi to every random person on the street because the similar effects will take place. Secondly, do not go to a dog park. Again, this is like the same principle as to why you don't greet every other dog while on a walk. Your dog will just keep associating other dogs with excited, playing, movement, all that kind of stuff, and again is ruining the neutrality aspect of socialization. And that's not even to mention how dangerous dog parks can be. Okay, so now let's get into how to properly socialize your dog. The first thing I would recommend to any puppy parent is to enroll in puppy classes. Obviously, once your puppy is fully vaccinated and protected, like I said earlier. And puppy classes are so amazing because it's essentially just like a room full of other dog parents trying to learn and a bunch of other puppies. And in these types of situations, your dog can learn how to listen to you when they're distracted by other dogs. So usually in a puppy class, the trainer or whoever's in charge is going to teach you how to teach super simple commands like sit, down, paw, whatever. And these simple commands you can obviously teach at home. It's not a big deal. That's not what puppy classes are for. It's more to practice for your puppy to learn to use saying sit, to learn to use saying down, and to get rewarded for those things while there's other dogs around. This is going to be so helpful in your dog's entire life because in the future, you want your dog to always listen to you even when there's other dogs around. When we got Mochi, puppy classes were closed due to the C word, and this has been so frustrating for me because I really wanted to take Mochi. And it was pretty obvious that because he grew up without going to puppy classes and stuff like that, he had a hard time listening to me around other dogs for many months until my training finally pulled through and he started improving. Another bonus of puppy class is because there's a little play session usually at the end or the beginning of these classes. First of all, it's the cutest thing ever. But second of all, this allows your dog to play and interact with other puppies in a very safe and controlled environment. First of all, everyone's a puppy and fights breaking out between young puppies is super unlikely. But second of all, because you know everyone else there on some kind of level, and during all these play sessions, your dog is learning how to properly interact and play with other dogs in a safe way. Secondly, introduce your puppy to as many situations, scents, sights, sounds, etc. as possible while they're in that prime socialization window, or if you missed it, another time is fine. Again, the key here is to be controlled and positive. So don't throw your puppy into the middle of a huge crowd in Times Square at 8 p.m. on a Friday, because that obviously is not controlled or safe. Rather, you could take your dog with you to a park and find a spot where you're quite far from all the hustle and bustle of everyone else, maybe other dogs walking, people playing with a frisbee. Find a spot where your dog can watch those kind of actions, but still keep a nice distance. And while your puppy is watching calmly and everyone passing by and stuff, give them lots of treats to create that positive association. Or what I love to do is take your puppy to a pet-friendly store, usually like Home Depot lets you take your dogs in, and just let them, sniff around a little, see what's going on, listen to all the sounds going on, and keep giving them those treats, again, to build that positive association. You can even play a YouTube video of fireworks, for example, if you want to desensitize them to that while they're super young, and again, with lots of treats, again, at a low volume, to gradually expose your puppy to these things. Basically, you want your puppy to encounter a bunch of different stimuli and experiences while he's in that prime socialization window, because then in the future, he'll be way less likely to get startled by new sounds or new sights or new smells, because he already has that positive foundation and a lot of desensitization experience while he's a puppy. Going off that point, also expose your puppy to different physical sensations. For example, walk your dog on wood, on concrete, on grass, on dirt, on sand, etc., or even on metal grates in the sidewalk, because that's something a lot of dogs grow up scared of. This lets your dog again explore the world around them while they're a puppy, while they don't have that fear kind of emotion yet, and it's building up your puppy's confidence to take on different kinds of situations and stimuli for the rest of his life. And while your puppy's still young, frequently touch your dog's paws. So dogs are famous for hating when people touch their paws. It's one of the most sensitive areas, but if you do it while they're a puppy, they're not that sensitive to it yet, and you can get them accustomed to you touching their paws. And this goes a long way when they're older and you have to start clipping their nails and such, because they won't mind you touching their paws. Another way to socialize your puppy is to set up playdates with trusted dogs that can act as teacher dogs. If you know anyone in your life that has a dog that's known for being good with puppies or other dogs, this is amazing to have short playdates with frequently, because puppies learn the best about how to interact with other dogs appropriately from older, more responsible, well-behaved dogs. For example, if your puppy keeps jumping up on another puppy, that puppy's not going to be able to teach your puppy to stop doing that. Or if your puppy starts jumping up on a dog that doesn't do so well with other dogs, that dog might get frustrated and overcorrect and accidentally hurt or scare your puppy. But if you have a really responsible dog that is known for being good with puppies, they'll give your puppy a gentle correction when they're doing something that's inappropriate in regards to dog interactions. So again, if your puppy starts jumping up on a good teacher dog, the teacher dog might, give a really quick but effective correction to your dog. It might look a little bit scary, so that's why you have to choose the right dog. But this is just an amazing way for your puppy to have a role model and to learn how to interact with other dogs, which us as humans have a really hard time to communicate to them because we're not other dogs. Similarly, to socialize your puppy, set up intros with trusted people in your life. By exposing your puppy to all kinds of people, whether it be kids or old people, women, men, delivery people, your dog will grow to be more friendly and tolerant of all kinds of people in his future. Again, this is a huge thing. I wish I could have done more with Mochi, but again, he's a C-word puppy. So yeah, Mochi has weird emotions towards kids because he wasn't exposed to many kids during his socialization window. He's kind of weird with older men because he didn't get to interact with them during his socialization window. It all just kind of comes together, and it's best to do it when they're young. And finally, go super, super slow. When socializing a puppy, start with short 1 to 2 minute sessions and always keep the distance between your puppy and potential stimuli very far apart at the beginning. For example, again, if you want to go to Home Depot to do some socialization, maybe just go in, let your dog sniff around, give him a few treats, let him listen around for 2 minutes, then leave. This sounds crazy, but puppies have such a short attention span, that all training kind of has to be short no matter what you're training, but socialization especially, because overwhelming your puppy by doing too much at once is actually going to be super counterproductive and instill more fear in your puppy. And don't be shy with the treats. Over treating now temporarily during the few weeks that your dog is in their socialization prime window will do much more than being stingy on the treats now, and then later in life your dog having reactivity and other behavioral issues because of the lack of positive association during socialization. And you're going to need a lot more treats later on if you don't, properly treat them now while they're young. As you heard me say 1,000 times in this video, socialization relies a lot on the principle of desensitization and counter conditioning. So for a deeper dive on those methodologies and why they work, check out our video linked here on the screen.